I should probably start by introducing myself. My name is Olfa, and I'm a final year electrical engineering student, and I have an interest in everything that is development and community building. The title of this is going to be Creating and Sustaining Diverse and Inclusive Community. And probably the title is not going to be too right, but what I'm trying to say is basically why there aren't enough women in tech and what could we be doing to get more of them there. It's the results of some of the remarks I've been seeing in our community, why girls are not there, and I just wanted to share this with you and can probably talk about it. So for those who don't know where Mauritius is, it's that small dot over there in the Indian Ocean. I think they have 1,200,000 people in total, and the developer community is 1,300 people, but mostly men-dominated, just 25% of us are women, and yes, they're not always present, but doing pretty well compared to other communities. So basically, I want to ask, how many times did you have to be in a room that looks like this? Mainly guys in, like few women or no women. I think in that picture there is only one girl and myself. That was a meetup that happened like 2 months ago. Probably should ask you this. Have you been in this? Okay. And how often do you have women stepping up to just do technical workshops and lead meetups? It's not so much the case for us, but we're trying to get there. And yeah, so women in tech companies in general, there are less than 30% in tech positions filled by women, technical positions 16%, and we can say that women are vastly underrepresented in the tech field. My question is why? There are 4 points I actually noticed. The first one is cultural reasons. I don't know if you can relate with that, but in a couple of countries, mainly African countries or like the countries I visited, you find the parents since the beginning telling their kids, you probably should be doing something else other than tech. I tried a small experiential. I asked a couple of girls in the community between 4 and 11 years old, what do you want to become? And I don't think any one of them mentioned that she wants to become a software developer. The answer you hear the most is, I want to become a doctor, or I want to become a lawyer. And when I started asking why, basically that's what the parents say. I wish one day you'll grow up to become a good doctor. And I think that's what my parents told me too. When I chose to become an engineer, my father did not talk to me for 2 weeks because he was angry. He wanted to have a doctor in the house, and unfortunately did not happen. So that is the first reason, which I don't think we can do much about because parents are parents. You should just deal with it. Probably what I think we could be doing as a community is just getting parents to attend the meetups and see what women in tech are doing so that they could actually see their girls doing that too, because it's easy to communicate with a doctor. You see doctors everywhere. You go to hospitals, doctors are there, so you can picture your children being doctors. But for software developers, if I ask my parents what a software developer is, probably doesn't know much. Someone in front of a computer, what is he doing? Not sure. The other one is, the other reason I think that is holding women back is lack of exposure to role models. And that is the answer I got from people when I just went around asking, why do you think there aren't enough women in tech? I can show you something. Basically, how many times does a high schooler or a young girl in university hear about influential women that are doing big things in tech? Or where could she find that? Probably in school, at home, in internships. And if all of these are unable to provide this, probably she should be looking at the tech community. And that's what I believe the tech community should be stepping in to provide access to more role models so that they can see people that are doing big things. In my community, for example, it was not very obvious to see women that are in tech at home because my parents are not in the field. In school, not really. Like all the people that taught me computer science were men. And in internships and at work, I worked in a bank. I worked in a couple of places like a data modeling center. The team had very few women. For the bank that I worked in, I think like 6 or 7 amongst a team of 60. So you're not basically seeing much that women are doing. Lately, we are organizing a conference for women in tech. Probably it's going to be the first in Mauritius for women in tech. And we got to interact, to try to get speakers. And someone suggested to connect us with Megan Smith and Diane Green. And I asked a small team of 4 girls that are working in the curation team to do research about the ladies, and so that we know what to ask them. Those are the comments I heard. So I can be a CTO too. Wow, there are CTOs out there that are women. So Google trusts women in leadership? That's for real? There are women in leadership in Google? Tell me, so Diane Green actually managed the whole team in Google, right? The girls that are in charge of this came to my room and they were knocking to just tell me this. They couldn't believe that there are women in leadership positions in tech because they just simply don't hear about them. And the question is, how can we get more women to hear about these ladies? Probably conferences could be a solution, but I don't know how sustainable is that, because you can do a conference once a year, twice a year, not more. What can you do after that? Something I think has been helping a lot. I reached out to people in my network. I asked people around me to reach out to their network and just get 1-minute videos of women that are achieving something or working in the tech field to just record talking about their journey and publish them on social media. It's actually having a good reach, and people are willing to hear more. They'll be like, so if you are working on something that is impressive, I want to hear about it. That way, the small girl that is in high school could see someone that she could look up at. And the last reason that I notice is acronyms are actually a barrier to entry. You attend a meetup and you hear, like, I don't know, using TensorFlow to create a chatbot, or I don't know, anything like VPNs, RPA. Girls have been telling me that they attend meetups and in the middle they're lost because of the use of acronyms. They don't know what this technology is, they don't know why it's useful, and they feel like probably I don't know much to be able to be in that space. Those are conferences, workshop titles that from our last MSCC developer conference, which is the biggest tech conference in Mauritius, I printed some of them, and then I went around talking to the girls in my community, and I asked them, what do you think of this? Is it something that you would want to attend? And for these 3, the majority said no. And the reason is because they were like, I don't understand what that is. So the titles are Boosting Custom Built-in App Capabilities with Google APIs, Build and Train an RNN Chatbot Using TensorFlow. And I tried to get some girls to actually write the things differently. And one suggestion that was for the chatbot, she was saying, I don't care what an RNN is, I don't care what TensorFlow is, just tell me what can I do with this chatbot first to get me to attend. And after that, we can talk about the technology. So probably we should not be starting from the technology, but starting from why it's useful, why it makes sense, and then the technology will come as a byproduct. So yeah, those are a couple of acronyms that are keeping people out. OPP, like for example, I remember a girl telling me that she went for a technical interview, and the very first question that the interview asked her is, what do you think of OPP? And she was like, sorry, I don't know that, and she left. It's simply object-oriented programming, because she doesn't know the acronym. And there's the assumption in girls' minds for some reason that if I don't know the acronym, it means I don't know the technology, it means I'm probably not good enough. Technology versus applications, that's also something I noticed. I noticed that I worked on a project where we developed a TensorFlow model to basically play Snake game, and I thought it was very cool. I was very happy with it. I don't think I have a video, but I can show you later, of the model playing Snake. And then I reached out to a couple of girls in my community and were like, so do you want to make a model that plays another game, suggest a game, and then we can make that? And the ladies looked at me and they're like, yeah, we make a model that plays a game, but why? And then what? And it was very surprising to me because I thought it's cool. Like, we can make a model that plays a game, plays better than humans, and it's nice. But it seems like for the girls that I met, or the majority of the girls that I interacted with, it's not good enough reason to work on something overnight or just spend your time working on it because it's simply cool. There must be another reason behind it. And that's where I started noticing that girls are more interested in the impact of what they're doing. Does it have a social impact? Does it have a financial impact? Is it bringing any educational value to the community? And I can give you an example about something that we tried. We tried saying, making a meetup where we asked girls, the title was using TensorFlow for image classification. And I literally got 2 people in the room that are girls or even less. In the next meetup, we tried to make it more of a project-based, so creating a robot that can follow people using computer vision. That got more girls in the room, but still, they were like, you created a robot that follows people, and then what? What can we do with it? The third meetup, around the same topic, basically the same technology, but we're trying to present it differently, was it was an agriculture problem with these small worms that eat the leaves of the plants. So we're like, can we make something that could help the crops be better, basically preventing these worms from eating the leaves? And it was surprising that the number of girls we got in that meetup was more than the guys, because it simply meant something to them, that you're doing something not because it's cool, not because it's just fun, it means something. I think probably there are things that we should be doing differently in our communities and also in school, because I just went back to the way we're studying in school. We don't really care about projects or impact. They teach you, you have an assignment, you have to do it, and probably that's what's holding some of the girls back, because they just can't relate with it. I'm building something, and then what? What do I do with it? And also, something else, I think girls tend to be perfect, and they want things to just work perfectly since the first time. I can relate with that. I don't know if you can. So when I'm running coding workshops, I notice that girls tend to compile in their minds. She just doesn't want to hit run. She just looks at the code and be like, just give me a few minutes. I can just tell you where the error is. I'm like, you shouldn't beat with that. Try to debug in other ways. So I remember once there was a girl, I was showing her how to use the breakpoints, and she put them. And as soon as she ran and saw the error, she fixed it, and then she went and removed the breakpoints one by one. And then it looked like a strange behavior to me. I'm like, why are you removing the breakpoints? I'm like, I don't want to see them. It means that I have errors. I just want my code to work. And I think that's something we could work on, is girls do not need to be that perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. And it's actually, that's what coding is. You just learn how to deal with the errors and just accept them first. So I think it takes time for girls to learn how to use the debugger, and on a more broader picture, how to deal with imperfection. That is what I'm thinking about the topic. So I don't know, probably there are other things that we should be doing better, and I welcome your suggestions and questions. Thank you.